but social media is like it just yeah, it just kills my soul.
Welcome to Improv Inside Out, the healing power of improv. I'm Diane Kettering, your improv host,
And I'm Katie Warzel, your mental health host.
and we are here with actress and comedian Diya. Oh, I'm going to say it right. I'm going to read it so I say it right. Shivlani. That is
That's
so
right.
pretty.
It is. It's a beautiful name.
And Diya, you're in Houston, you just told us,
Yeah.
but originally from Australia?
So I was born in India and then I moved to Australia when I was a teenager. I was there for 16 years and then I moved to the US about 2 years ago.
What made you move to the US?
Well, it was work, but we had a set of like traumatic events happen to us in Australia, and I work in IT, so I told
You
them,
do?
yeah,
I
I work
didn't
in
know
IT.
that.
So I told my work I want to move somewhere really safe, and then I thought they'd be like Norway or Netherlands, and they were like Houston, Texas. Um, and that's how we ended up here. And yeah, I work in oil and gas. I work in AI for oil and gas. So yeah, that's how we ended up in Houston.
I didn't even know you were married.
Oh yeah, I'm married. I have kids.
You have kids? I didn't know that either. I guess we didn't dive that deep into each other's personal relationship when we took the UCB classes together.
No, we didn't. I think it was quite focused on the session. So I
Yes,
think maybe that's why the sessions ended up pretty like we'll end half an hour early, right? More sessions.
yes, yeah. I loved it though. I got a lot
Yeah.
out of it. So, was that your first like character improv, or how long have you been doing improv?
No, I used to do it. So I used to do it before I had kids, and then I stopped for like a good 9 years,
Oh
and
wow.
then when we were in Australia. So when we were in Australia, what happened is we were in an accident, and then I fractured my back, and I was bedridden for like 2 months. And then right after that, when I could start walking again, our house got burgled, and like they took everything that was valuable.
Were
And
you
then like,
there?
pardon?
Were you there?
No, we were not in the house. No.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
good.
goodness.
No. And a month later, when we were trying to get like footage of our burglary from like neighbors, right? We saw like our neighbor had been murdered and he was just lying on the pavement and his wife was giving him CPR and he was murdered by a burglar, like a 15-year-old boy. So eventually that boy, in Australia, like if you're a teenager, you can pretty much get away with anything. So it
It
was
was
just
a
like
15-year-old boy that did this.
yeah, and then he ran away from the scene. They did catch him eventually, but he was trying to steal someone's bike, and my neighbor tried to stop him, and then he just like stabbed him. Because there's no guns in Australia, but there's a lot of stabbings that happen.
So,
Um,
okay, hold on. I'm gonna slow you down. So, this was not the same person
no,
that went to
no.
your house?
Yeah, the people who came to our house was a group. It wasn't just one guy. It was like a group, but they never caught them. But yeah, it was a group of people. So when this happened back to back, right, my kids didn't want to go back home because they, especially my daughter, she was very traumatized by the scene she saw at home. Luckily, they did not see my neighbor. When he was on, they were not there. It was just me and my husband. But we've also got really involved. So what happened after the murder? Because we were the first few witnesses, like we had all these journalists at our doors like for the next 2 days, and my husband didn't like that. It was not a good experience. And then I got involved in the politics. I got to speak to the MPs, mayors, but nothing really happened, and I was not in a good state of mind. So my husband told me to get back into improv, and he's the one who actually like signed me up for like the first session, and this was like 9 years later, and I
Mm.
did it, and I really enjoyed it. And then, well, through work, I ended up moving to Houston. So that's when I re-signed for UCB. And anyway, I wanted to get the UCB credentials on my resume as well.
Right.
But yeah, that's how I restarted in improv. My husband was the one who encouraged me to do it.
So, I love that your husband's so supportive.
Mm.
And so, what was it about improv that you think he thought was helpful?
No, he used to see how it made me so happy, right? In the past, when I was involved, I was part of a group in Australia.
Do you do
You know,
long form or short form in
I
Australia?
did mostly short form. Yeah. So, and then after the kids came, like everything stopped, right? So he just thought it'll get me out of the rut I'd gotten into. And obviously, my mental health had suffered a lot with all these incidents that happened back to back. So, yeah, and it was, it brought me a lot of joy when I went back to
Are you actively doing it now? Improv?
it.
Are you in a
Not
troupe?
really.
Are
So,
you,
I
so you're not
know.
on a team?
No, so after moving to the US, obviously I still had to like make friends, find my footing, figure out how things work. That's when I did the UCB course. But then I did end up, luckily in the US, I did end up getting signed by a whole heap of acting agents. So I've got agents in Texas, New York, I've got a manager in LA, and I've got an agent in Florida. And while I was looking at improv, one of the agents said, maybe you should try stand up comedy. I'd never done stand up before. And he said, your improv skills would translate to that. Because I think for me, the issue with improv is that you do it as part of a group. So, your timings need to match. And right now, I'm in a new place. I've got kids. My dad lives with me. He needs care. I've got a full time job. I've got auditions that come through. So yeah, the agent said, try and do stand up. And I started doing stand very well. And in my stand up, I do act outs and things like that. But yeah, I don't do like full fledged improv.
I think you are freaking hilarious in your
I
stand-up.
cannot hear you.
Oh, really? What happened?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I was just saying, I think you are freaking hilarious in your stand-up. I
Thank
am a
you.
huge fan.
Yeah. We watched some
Uh-oh.
clips
Not
while we were
shaming you.
preparing.
Did you hear it because it froze up?
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Um, hmm. I think my internet is. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, thanks. I haven't posted this was when I just started off the clips that I've posted, so I've definitely improved since then. But it's going really well, I must say. The stand-up part is going really well. There's an improv there's comedy sports in Houston. I don't know if you've
Yeah.
heard of them. They do long form.
It's nationwide. I
Yeah.
used to belong
So
to it here in St. Louis. Yeah.
right. So I did go there. They had some auditions, but it is a big time commitment, which at this point I'm not able to make. But I've been speaking to them, like if there's a show on and off, 'cause they're looking to expand here, maybe even like teach some of the classes and things like that, but haven't gotten to it yet.
But I see like you have stand-up gigs like in Los Angeles now and
Mm,
all
mm,
over.
mm. Yeah, I've got a show coming up at the Ice House, which I'm told is a very reputed club here. At the end of April, I've got a show at the Comedy Store again at the end of April, on the 28th of April.
And it's
Um,
all in Los Angeles.
this is all in Los Angeles. The Houston comedy scene is pretty small. So if I do want to do it, it'll have to be New York, Los Angeles, or maybe Austin. But because my acting manager is in Los Angeles, is the casting director that I work with in Los Angeles, it just seemed like when I go there, I meet with them if I have any auditions, and then I book shows over there. But I'm definitely getting traction in Los Angeles for sure.
That's great. Make sure you send me promos and a link because I'm gonna send it to my friends in Los Angeles too.
Oh,
And then I'll
cool.
put it on here too.
Awesome. I
Because
will.
I have some improv friends out there and that they would love to support you, I'm sure.
That'll be great. That'll be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Did you have a question earlier? I think I interrupted you.
I did have one. So you've lived in three very different parts of the world. Were you involved in improv in all like in India, Australia, and in Houston? Or
No,
tell me, how did your improv world begin?
so when I was in India, didn't do improv, but I was randomly at a wedding, and this casting director came up to me and asked me if I'd like act in a movie, like as the lead's friend, and I did it because it was during my holidays. And then I got another movie. I think I did three movies in total. But then my dad found out, and then he didn't want me to continue, so
Oh
I
no.
stopped that. But I really enjoyed the experience, and I was going to sign with like two agents in India, but it didn't happen. And then I moved to Australia. Um, so, so the thing in Australia is I didn't pursue acting because I didn't see representation. Like I just didn't see brown people on screen. It was always white. So I just didn't have the confidence to put myself out there. But I knew there's like improv classes, improv troops. So that's when I got into improv. That was the closest thing to acting that I could do.
Okay.
So that's
And you
yeah.
said that improv is what helped boost your confidence.
Yeah, I did. Because I was able to like, pursue my acting passion, but also I like making people laugh, and I could do both with improv. I like topical humor, so yeah. I don't know how much topical humor you can do right now, but so yeah, so I mean when I started improv, I was just doing some classes in Australia, and then through that I got into a troupe, and that's where I did it.
Are they in Australia? Are they as I don't know if the word's divisive, or are they like as Big Brother watching what you say, and you're only allowed to say certain things when
No.
you know what I mean? Like here in America, there's easily offended people.
Mm.
Do you
It
get that
depends.
in
It depends on which group you're in. It depends on which city you live in.
Mm.
I think it comes down to that. It's also not as well established here in Australia like it is here. Like in the US, you've got your UCB, you've got Second City, you've got Groundlings, they're like highly reputed institutions if you perform. So Australia doesn't really have that. It's like there's local improv groups and there's no like, top tier and all of that. So it's a bit more unstructured. It depends on the city you're in. Um, the only thing I think with most improv groups right now is you're not meant to punch down, right? So that was always the case. You shouldn't punch down, but outside of that, not really.
Oh, really? You
Mm.
can punch up?
Punch up, yes.
I'm sorry. Did you have another question? I don't
No,
know. Oh,
no.
okay. I didn't know if I stepped all over your
Oh
question.
no.
I try to overtake all the interviews. So what are you gonna do besides the stand up? And so are you working right now on
Mm-mm.
IT? Like are we taking up your lunchtime or something?
No, no, that's fine. It's not that strict. I did take 6 months off last year in July because I had signed up with this with the agents and manager, and I was like, my life is made. I've got an agent. I'm a manager. I'm just going to be booking roles, and that didn't happen. So 6 months later, I went. But that's when I started stand up and all of that. So I've just started a new job. I work in IT. Yeah, I do stand-ups in the evenings. My job's really flexible, so I travel to different cities and do stand-up. And then from an acting perspective, things are looking up. Like I'm definitely getting a lot of auditions. I haven't booked anything substantial yet, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of your auditions like in person or online?
No, it's all online. They're all self-tape. I'd love an in-person audition because I think I think everybody likes in-person auditions, but especially for me, by the time I set my the self tape and the lighting, and by then you're already like half exhausted.
Is you said something I forgot what I was gonna say that, but you're doing a lot of auditions. What are you looking for TV or movies or anything?
Anything, anything.
So if somebody wanted to find you, where should they go social media wise? Not like what's your home address? No, if somebody wanted to see your stand up or find out more about you, where should they go?
So at this point, I'm only on Instagram. I'm on just.diya.it, just diya it.
All right, so just JUST Diya DIYA IT.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Just yeah, it's a take on Nike's Just Do It. Um, and yeah, right now I'm just on Instagram. I'm looking to like ramp up Facebook. So I wasn't on social media until I got here, and then everybody's like, you have to have a social media presence. Um, So yeah, I need to build Facebook and Google, YouTube, but at this point, I'm on Instagram.
Okay. All right. And now, I just remember something you said that I was curious about, and it's really none of my business, but I want to know anyway. Uh, what didn't your dad like about you doing movies?
So okay, so in India, there's the I won't say it's a misconception because a lot of it is true. Because I did have a friend who ended up doing movies, and the casting couch. I don't know if you're familiar with the term. It's very prevalent for women, right? Like, so basically, my dad's point of view was like you'll get to a certain degree, and then after that, you'll have to sleep around to get your like to make it big in movies. So like, why would you even want to do it? And it's true. I mean, people will argue it's not, but it is true, at least in the South where I was from. Um, which is why I didn't argue too much. As yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was, and there's also the stigma of being in movies, and then nobody wants to, nobody will want to marry you. And from my parents' perspective, like the one thing they wanted was for me to get married and have kids. So that was like high up in terms of their priorities. So there's a stigma of acting in movies, and then because then the assumption is you've gotten there through the casting couch and all of that. Yeah.
Right.
Ah,
Mhm.
I see. So he is protecting your reputation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. And so now what does he think?
See, I mean, here it's different. At least so far, it's been different. And now I'm like 20 years older than when I started, so it's different in general. Um,
Well, you're not in person, so it's hard to get on a couch.
yeah, true, true. Um, he's fine with it now because I'm married, I have kids, I've got a really good job. I pretty much like fulfilled all my parents' expectations in terms of everything that they wanted me
Right.
to do, buy a house, whatever. So I
Mhm.
spent like the first 10 years of my life like after I graduated doing that. So now I feel like I can focus on the things I want to do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had a choice, you had to give up either improv, stand-up comedy, or acting.
Jeez. I mean, I don't want to give up. I feel they all like kind of because a lot of my acting auditions are pure improv. Like even the one I've got today is there's no lines. You have to come up with your own lines. And I think the reason I even get these auditions is because I've done UCB, because I do stand up. They give you a product and then they're like, go with it, just make it funny. So I think
Good.
that yeah.
So you think that helped your resume a lot then, huh?
Oh, 100%, 100%. So I don't get a lot of auditions where, you need to look glamorous and things like that because that's just not my vibe. I won't dress up for the shoot. But I get a lot of the improv auditions.
So have you done anything besides UCB?
In the US, I mean, I've done a lot of acting courses, not UCB. I did like a stand-up thing with Second City, and I've done a whole heap of other acting stuff, but nothing specific to improv.
But that's like the standout on your resume, the UCB class.
Well, that's what my manager says. She says it's good to have. Oh, I did audition at the Groundlings to get into their like in their more advanced course, and I got in. But then it's all in person, so I have to be in LA for that. So I haven't started that yet.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah. So how long are you gonna be in LA in April? Are you staying there for a while?
Ah. No, I generally just go for like. So I have a show on the 26th, so I'll probably land like 26th morning, and 28th is the next show. Then I'll leave 29th morning. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna send some friends out to see you.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I love your Instagram. So everybody be sure to follow her because she's hilarious. I was just showing I was showing Katie what was the last thing I saw was about getting a green card.
Mm.
Yes. Are you can you go anywhere with your job? Can you work from anywhere?
Oh, I could, but my husband can't. So,
Oh, yeah. So that's probably important.
yeah.
Right.
I have to decide between staying married or like going in.
What does your husband do?
He's an engineer. He works in renewable energy.
Oh,
Oh,
Fantastic.
Cool. Do you go to Austin much?
No, I haven't been to Austin yet. I was thinking of maybe standing in line for Kill Tony. But so I've been told, like in Austin, the vibe is different. It's very like young men comedians, so it's a little
Mhm.
bit. Whereas LA and New York is a bit more diverse. So even though Austin is the closest, I haven't gone to Austin yet. But I am thinking of going for, I mean, at least standing in line for Kill Tony in the next couple of
Yeah,
weeks. Hmm.
that would be great. Oh gosh.
I mean, I've heard a lot of things about Austin. The only issue is if they decide to do something and they've got like age on their side, they've got a lot of time. But they can't just rent out a theater. Like I think in Houston, to rent out a theater is about $200, and then they can just sell tickets on their own. I know a lot of people who do that. They'll come
Hmm.
up with their own show, and then they rent out a place, and then they just promote. Um, I mean, that's definitely one way of doing it.
Are they successful?
Dep- It depends on how, that's the thing. Like, some people like to focus on the craft and like on the humor, like me. Like, I don't want to be going out there selling tickets. But there's some comedians who are not that funny, but they are very good at promoting, right? Like, they're fantastic. They'll just be out on the streets,
Yeah.
in the subway, like just handing out flyers, talking to people, approaching businesses. They're so good at it. And they sell out shows. They can
Yeah.
if they're good at it. Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. It's getting, you have to get your own audience. We were just at, do you guys have the Funny Bone down there? They used to be in,
Oh,
well, I don't know, they're in Dallas maybe. Anyway, they used to be nationwide, Funny Bone in the Improv. And we just performed there. And it's like, but you gotta bring an audience. I mean, I get that you have to have an attraction, but it's like you don't walk into an audience made for you.
no, but it's the same with my stand-up, especially like when I'm doing the Ice House. Okay, maybe Ice House and Comedy Store because I've worked with them, the producers before. But somebody offered me a spot at the Hollywood Improv, which is like a really reputed club, and they were like, "You need to bring 5 people," which is doable. But then sometimes they'll tell you last minute. Like today, they contacted me for a show tomorrow at the Hollywood Improv, and they were like, "So fun! I'll have to fly there, then I'll have to find these people." It's a lot of work, but yeah, hopefully it pays off.
Yeah, and you don't even live there.
No, that's the thing.
So have
With
you played
Houston,
those
it's
places
easy.
before?
I've never
The Ice
performed
House?
at any, no, I've never performed at any of those places before. So I mean, it's important to get them on my resume as well, right? Like Ice House, Comedy Store. I've performed at the Dallas Improv, but not at the Hollywood one, and then Laugh Factory and But what is your aim? Like, it depends on what some people like. They don't necessarily want to make money out of comedy, so they're okay with just doing it.
Right.
Like it depends. Like, if you want to actually make this your career out of improv, then like for me, I'd like to do this as a full-time gig, right? I don't want to be working. Having said that, my job's great, but yeah. So I'm working on like this whole brand strategy. As I was speaking to another comedian, and she came up with this thing where I go in with a cowboy hat, and generally my first few lines are like Texan accent, and then she's like go in like full-fledged Texan, and then like shock them that you're from India. So I tried that the other day, and it kind of worked well. So I don't know if that's what. But with your son and your daughter, I think the other way they can do it is through social media. Like that seems to be, if you can get big on social media, you can sell out shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's what I told them. I said, start feeding it that way. Start getting it following that way.
Yeah,
And then tell them where you're going to be. I
that's
wish I could be in Los Angeles while you're there.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
One day. One day.
Just for one day. We're going to go to the Improv Festival in Florida over the summer. There's like 3 in a row.
nice. I don't
And
even
one of
know.
them's the biggest one in the world. So, but they're
What's
right
it
there, like
called?
all around Tampa.
What's it called?
This one is called, the biggest one is called Countdown, I think. Improv Countdown. And it's gonna be, it's like near Tampa, but it's like a little Cuban community there.
Okay.
I can't think of the name of it. I know Safety Harbor is one of the festivals for AIN, Applied Improv Network. and then it goes to this one, the countdown, and uh I can't think of it. I can't think of the name of it, but it's a really expensive area,
Yeah.
but it's like very like Cuban-esque and has a lot of their traditions and culture there. So I think that'd be
Nice.
fun.
No, but that's awesome. So you're getting out and about and you're performing out of town.
But we're doing this. We're not performing for this. We're doing this for the podcast. But
Ah,
my
okay.
son, so my two sons do a Tuesday long form together,
Okay.
and they're very, very good, very, very good together. And they applied for one of the festivals, so we have to wait. We still have to wait and see if they made it or not.
That's awesome.
So we'll see. And then my daughter does improv with us also.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's great. No, it's great. I mean, I don't know what improv, but my son's showing like early signs of being a good stand-up comedian because he does accents really well. Like he limited my accent and like so he does it. And
How
it's
old is he?
annoying, but so I was like there's a lot of stand-up classes for kids as well. I don't know if there's improv classes, but there's definitely stand-up classes for kids that happen.
Hmm. Oh, wow.
You know, I tried to do some improv classes for teenagers, and we just can't get them out of their house here. It's like they want to just stay and stare at their phones.
Yeah, I can see that. So the stand-up classes that happen are mostly for like kids 7 to 10, and when they need that childcare during holidays, like 7 to 12, the age range, because after 12, then kids can stay alone at home, right? So it's during the summer where they need that childcare. That's when they,
Yeah,
um, yeah.
yeah, that's what I did two summer camps. The first one I did just for teenage girls because I think they need it. They need confidence builder and be able to, stand their ground. And then the next year I did it was co-ed, and still it was like it was not a lot of people. I thought it attract theater people and stuff, and it just attracted kids who thought they were funny, and most of they were funny, but they were really just wanting to be funny.
Okay. How did the one for girls go? Did you get a good?
You know, yeah, actually I think about 10,
Okay, that's
10,
pretty
and
good.
all within the ages of 12 and 15. And they did really well and they really, really liked it. So that was kind of cool.
That's
There's this
good.
little coffee shop that let me have the upstairs for free. And so that worked out.
Yeah, there's a stand-up classes for women in LA, like just for women, and they seem to attract a good number of people when it's just for women as well. I've
What
noticed.
have you been?
I mean, I went for a crowd work class, but I tend to attend these classes just so I can network, and meet. Yeah, and I went for one that was at the Comedy Store. No, it was good. It was good. Um, I find a lot of women though will attend classes but never get on stage.
Hmm.
Really? So
Yeah.
what's the average age that women are going to these classes?
If it's like maybe mid late 20s to like 65.
Oh, all over.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of older women, younger women. But like I said, a lot of them attend classes and then they don't go on stage. But whereas the guys will just rock up, go on stage. Like men are so confident, it's amazing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like there's one comedian who has Down syndrome and she's doing really well. Um, I mean, it's all changing, but yeah, it's good that you're doing it for women and building their confidence because I feel like we are at this age now where pornography and OnlyFans and all of that is being marketed so much. Like every time I read the news, it's out there, and I'm always reading about. I don't know how you feel, but I'm always reading about how this girl she was doing a PhD and now she's earning more money on OnlyFans. And I see a lot of stand-up comedians will do topless stand-up comedy on OnlyFans, and
Oh,
I was just telling my husband, I was like, how are we going to instill like certain values in our kids where as a society media in general is telling women like this is the rightful place for you to be. So anyway, I was having a bit of an existential crisis this morning. I was like,
Yeah.
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 um I yeah, parenting's confusing right now. I mean, yeah, it's just it's a lot. It's there's too much media. There's too much bro culture. There's a lot going on. Yeah.
It is. It is. And there's a lot of you must think this way and not that. And I
Hmm.
hate that.
Right.
And Katie's a big advocate for, she thinks we should have improv in elementary schools to build their confidence right away.
I think we should. I think we should. Um, Certainly. I mean, I think, there's some kids who are not good at sport and they just never will be, right? But if you
Mhm.
have something like this or like drama or whatever, that'll build up their confidence.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um, it should be there, but I don't see it happening. It wasn't there in Australia either. Like,
Mm.
Australia has a very big sport culture, like much bigger than the US.
Really?
Sports is like
That's hard
it's
to
right from
imagine.
like yeah, it's much bigger.
Mm.
Yeah, they won the most number of Olympic medals based on like per capita as a country, right? Given how small the country is, they won the
Mhm.
most number of, even though the US won a total.
Wow.
But like sports is so important, but if you're not good at sports, then like nothing else seems to matter. Yeah.
Right. Right. I feel like too, improv um would help bring some unity within, I guess, within grade levels and help instill that attitude of helping the person beside you and helping the person beside you look good instead of making them look bad to make yourself look better, which I think
right.
is very cultural right now. I'm gonna, I'm going to put you down or I'm gonna dump on you because then I've got this smart ass comment that makes you look dumb, but I came up with a comment and I'm not the one who has this dumb thing. So I'm extremely cool.
Right.
And I think that's not, I don't think that's the greatest attitude to have at all. And I really like the I've got your back attitude that is instilled, the culture.
Support your scene
Yeah.
partner.
Support your scene partner
Yeah.
that comes with improv. I think that'd be great in the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
agree. I agree.
I think that's 4 podcasts in a row that I've, that I've mentioned that now.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, also, I didn't know, like, as an actress, if you're like, okay, I don't want people to know,
Right.
how old my kids are, or I don't know.
No, I'm actually surprised that I got signed by an agent only because I had kids. Because they were like, we want real moms. A lot of casting directors are asking for real moms because they want authentic people. So I was like, sweet, that's great. Um,
Nice.
yeah,
That's
it's
neat. That's very neat.
I'm so excited for you. I can just see you really going far with this. I really am excited for you. And I didn't know, taking the character class, I guess you don't get to see everybody's personality. You just get to see their characters. And then when I saw you on Instagram, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's really funny. I don't know why I didn't expect you to be, but I just thought, oh, because I guess I just thought, oh, she's dabbling in improv right now. Just, I didn't realize you had also started being a stand-up. And it's like, wow, she is really funny.
Thanks. Yeah, it's funny. The other day I did a stand-up show, and this guy came up to me after the show, and he was like, when you went on stage, I thought you're totally gonna suck. And then he was like, but you were so funny. And I was like, should I be insulted or should I take this as a compliment? And he's like, both. Thanks. Thank
I
you.
want to be a fly on the wall and watch when you walk out in your cowboy hat and then the reaction when people
I
realize it.
I'll put that on Instagram because I did two shows like that, and
Uh-huh.
it was so funny because I wore my cowboy hat and boots, and then like when I actually say I'm from India, I actually take out this. It's like this Indian bindi that
Oh.
and then I'm like I'm gonna stick it on because sometimes people get confused if I'm a feather or a dot, and then I stick it on. It's
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
that, It was funny. So I'll put that up soon. It's just with Instagram, right? You need to edit, you need to like do 100 things. I tried using editors, but they've not been so good. Um, there's
It's time consuming.
it's too much work. Oh my God. It's like crazy. I just wish there was no social media, to be honest.
I mean, we've just talked to so many interesting people in the way they
Mhm.
use improv. It's crazy.
Right. A couple therapists who
Mhm.
are going into counseling and doing therapy from improv, which was nice. It's
Wait,
great.
so they do improv, like they themselves do improv, or they teach improv to their patients?
They use improv to counsel their patients.
Mhm.
How do they do that?
Well, we do too with like caregivers of those going through memory loss.
Mhm.
We use improv games to help them remember like the skills you need to communicate when someone's going through memory loss.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I'm using it in therapy with some clients to the fun thing that I'm learning about improv is that it increases your creativity and people who are more creative are better problem solvers because they can easily think outside the box. And people who are better problem solvers have less anxiety because they know they can solve problems, right? And people who are more confident have less anxiety. So improv addresses the creativity, the confidence. And so if we can increase people's creativity and confidence, then we can decrease anxiety. So I'm using some of the games that can be played between two people in my one-to-one sessions that I have with clients. And then I also have a group where I'm piloting some different improv types of games just to increase cohesiveness within the group and also to enhance these creativity because it's a group of people who experiences change a lot and really needs to be able to adapt almost on a daily basis. And so having that confidence and having the creative centers of their brains ignited and strengthened on a regular basis can be very beneficial for them. So
Interesting.
it's been great. It's a lot of fun experimenting and trying different things that
Yeah.
I'm learning through conversations with people like you about
Okay.
improv.
Katie
I
specializes with senior care and schizophrenia.
wow. Okay.
Right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's that's an interesting take. I mean, I knew about CBT. That's the most I know about. I used to see a therapist, especially after the accident and all of that. But yeah, it was. She didn't really use any techniques or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't hear about it a lot. I actually had a lot of trouble finding any research on improv in therapy or
Mm.
how it's used for therapy. Traditionally, when you do research, you don't want to go back further than 10 years because the research is considered outdated. So I was looking within 10 years and I really could not find anything. I think there were two studies and everything that I read has the same two studies are used and quoted. But if you go beyond the 10 years, back like 50 years, then you can find some information
Oh
on
wow.
right. Improv and counseling actually were developed and created at not counseling, but some of the newer models of psychotherapy and applied improv were kind of created at the same time, which has been really interesting.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I hope you see some really good results with it.
Yeah, we are. I know people at least are having fun.
Yeah.
We're laughing more in sessions and different things like that, which is a lot of fun.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, have
Take
fun
care.
in LA.
Yeah.
I will.
So
Thanks.
jealous.
There's nothing to be jealous about. I go there, I do my shows, I try and get people to the shows, and then the night I have my last show, I don't even book a place to stay. I just head straight to the airport. After that, I wait there for 4 or 5 hours and I come back. So that's the thing.
But there is stuff to be jealous of. That's really cool. I mean, you're
That is
following your
cool.
dream.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Sound like
it's
McDonald's.
fantastic.
So-
If you would like to be a guest on our show, please contact us at improvinsideout.com.